What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my analysis of the new summer banner for FEH that we have got, and we've finally got an engaged character in many months in Summer IV. So she was on the silhouette, a lot of people are excited for her, and she's a green mage flyer in her summer version. So she just got Divine Draught as her preferred weapon, which gives her -1 special cooldown, and if she's within 3 spaces of a support partner, then she can move to space within 2 spaces of that ally. So I guess they're kind of implying Ymir here as the kind of ally support. So keep in mind that this is only going to be working in the player's hands, and this is not going to be working in Aether Raids defense because ally support is not active in Aether Raids defense or when the AI is controlling the unit. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then at start of combat, if her HP is at or above 25%, she can get +5 to all of her stats. And also if she initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of a support partner, or if there's any kind of penalty active on the foe, she can get effects based on the number of conditions that are being met. So if 2 or more conditions are met, then she is able to get the Brave effect, which is extremely powerful. And then if 3 conditions are met, then she's able to get 15% true damage based on the higher of opponent's attack or her own attack, excluding the AoE specials of course. So this is really good, and she's going to be hitting really hard because she does have a pretty good attack stat at base 46 and also has a super boon on that. So being able to do the true damage and also get the Brave effect with this kind of high attack stat is really good. And if you want to have the guaranteed follow-up attack, then Brash Assault 4 is always going to be an option that you can run in her slot B, but she's not really going to be too fast with that base 25 speed. So she's mostly going to be relying on the Brave hits to kill stuff. So you have to make sure that you can meet the conditions to get the Brave effect. So overall a pretty solid unit. And then she comes with Still Water and Sabotage Attack Resistance 3. So this can help with the penalty condition of her weapon by basically debuffing the enemy with the Sabotage skill, and can also help her just get the in-combat debuffs on the opponent with the Sabotage skill and the tier 4 version of it. So Still Water is definitely helpful with her high base 44 resistance so that she can have an easier time debuffing the opponents with the Sabotage skill. But of course there are definitely other options that you can run for her builds if you don't really want to go the route of running Still Water and lowering her defense and then just trying to debuff the opponents. And here comes the insane skill of the banner in Soaring Guidance. So Soaring Guidance is actually an inevitable skill, and it's the tier 4 version of Flyer Guidance, but it works with infantry units and flying units. So infantry and flying units within 2 spaces of the unit can move to a space within 2 spaces of that unit. So it's basically like Guidance 4, but for the infantry and flying units. On top of that, you can also get +3 attack and speed in the combat if you're an infantry and flying unit, and you also get the offensive half of null follow-up, which is extremely good for so many of the ranged flyers which don't have access to the flow skills, don't have access to null follow-up that easily. So being able to get the offensive null follow-up is really good, and Soaring Guidance is, in my opinion, a pretty solid skill. But the armor units kind of need the mobility a bit more with Guidance 4, and they can definitely become pretty scary because they can just function in the enemy phase with the safe skills and then also teleport in the player phase using Guidance 4. So I do like Guidance 4 a bit more, but if you missed on Guidance 4 and if you really want to have Soaring Guidance, then I guess they are trying to capitalize on that by basically making Flyer Guidance 4 that is compatible with the infantry units, not only just with the flying units. So that is incredible, and this is going to be a very good skill because even though flying units have a lot of mobility options, it's still really good to provide that 2-space teleportation to them, especially if they have flat canto like Shadows of Valentia Pala, for example. And this can definitely be useful in Arena just for the mobility, because in Arena we're not allowed to use reposition, drawback, low scoring stuff like that. So it could be helpful just like Guidance 4. But I do like Guidance 4 a bit more because armor units have 1 mobility, and that 1 mobility can be a really painful thing in many game modes. So I do like it a bit more, but still Soaring Guidance is a really busted skill just like Guidance 4 is, and the teleportation it allows and the drive offensive null follow-up is really helpful for so many of the flying units. So that is going to be Ivy, absolutely solid unit, and also providing some insane fodder. But unlike Rearmed Tana, if you fodder her for the guidance, then she's gone. Unlike Rearmed Tana, she's not going to be staying in your barracks, which definitely sucks if you really like her a lot and you also want to have the Soaring Guidance. And then we've got Summer Fjorm. So Summer Fjorm this time around is a sword infantry unit, and Spurn 4 did get data mined like a month back, so we finally know who it was for. So she's got Icebound Brand with her preferred weapon. So this gives her minus some special cooldown, and if the foe is a range foe, then she's basically able to get null counter disrupt, which is extremely good in the metagame that we are in with Duels and all of these healers like Fallen Maria. So having that null counter disrupt definitely makes her a pretty unique god sword, which is built in her weapon, because you don't really need to run null counter disrupt in her slot B or anything like that. And then if foe initiates combat, or if foe's HP is at or above 75%, she can get +5 to all of her stats and also inflict penalty on foe's attack and speed, depending on 20% of her visible speed, and also inflict guard on them. And she's also able to get the flat 5 damage reduction when foe triggers the unit special, which is basically her Frostbite Mirror. So Frostbite Mirror is a 2 cooldown special, which becomes 1 cooldown special with her weapon, and then Time Pulse can pre-charge that. So Frostbite Mirror is basically like Ice Mirror, but a better version, as it does give you the damage reduction even against the melee units by 10%, and against the ranged units you get 30% damage reduction. And after the special triggers, you basically get the damage reflection, which we have seen before on Ice Mirror, so nothing new in that. But something that is extremely new is the conditional distant counter this gives you. So at start of combat, if the special is ready, then you get the distant counter skill, which is absolutely amazing because you don't really have to run a slotty skill like distant dart or distant attack speed solo, and you can still run finish skill, get the healing out of it, get the true damage out of it, while still enjoying distant counter and pretty much making use of the null counter disrupt in her weapon. So this easily makes her one of the better god sword units in the tiers of Lucia and like Fallen Female Pilot, and I would say that she's a bit better than Ascended Fear because of having null counter disrupt in her weapon. So yeah, bit better than the last god sword, who could have imagined. But yeah, we have got a lot of god swords, but Fjorm is definitely going to be pretty unique because of the null counter disrupt built in her weapon. And then she comes with Spurn 4, and Spurn 4 does give you the defense and speed debuff on the opponent, does have the Phantom Speed 2.5 built in, and it also gives you +5 true damage if your HP is at or below 75%. And now it also works with stuff like Godlike Reflexes or defensive specials like Frostbite Mirror, so you can basically get the true damage on the next attack whenever you trigger this kind of special. So Spurn 4 is here, and we just got a free Spurn in the limited ephemera manuals with female Chris. So if you have female Chris manual, then you can definitely get Spurn 4 and maybe even Time Pulse 4 or Finish 4 at the same time, depending on the other fodder that you've got. So yeah, she has got amazing fodder, and she's also a really amazing unit who does have pretty good speed stat at base 46. And god swords like Ymir, Ascended Fur, and Fjorm, these kinds of units who have more speed than just +5 speed in their weapon are really good because their ceiling is going to be higher than a lot of the other god swords like Lucia or Fallen Female Byleth, who don't really have as much speed. So getting more speed as a god sword is always going to be really good, and she does have base 46 speed with a super boon, so she's going to be functioning as a fantastic god sword. So if you're not having any kind of god sword, then this is a pretty good one to get, but I don't know how many more god swords we're going to be getting, so who can really say. So yeah, that's going to be Fjorm with her exclusive special. Yeah, that's not inheritable, of course, and conditional distant counter on that weapon just being featured right there. And then we've got Summer Tharja as the demote unit or the 4-star focus unit of the banner. And Summer Tharja is a blue mage cavalier, so until we get an arcane blue tome, you can definitely run Magical Lantern Plus on her so that she can get the unrestricted movement. But even her default inheritable weapon in Seashell Bowl is still a pretty good weapon. So at start of combat, if the unit's HP is at or above 25%, you can get +5 attack and speed in the combat, and also inflict -X speed and resistance debuff on the foe during the combat, and this X depends on 25% of your HP at start of the combat, and this can go all the way up to 10 debuffs, which is pretty insane. And then after the combat, you heal up to 10 HP. So overall, a pretty nice weapon, and she comes with pretty good fodder and speed resistance fod trace, and also speed attack speed gap. So yeah, she's gonna be a really good demote for all of the Tharja fans, and her stat spread is also really stacked with 45 base attack and 44 speed with a super boon. So she's a really good offensive mage cavalier, and it's just that we're waiting for Arcane Blue Tome, so she could be a really solid unit with that. And even without that, you know, Seashell Bowl is still pretty good, and Magical Lantern, like I said, is also going to be an option. So that is going to be the 4-star focus unit of the banner. Summer Tharja, honestly I didn't expect her, but kind of expected because she is the original Summer unit from Awakening, if you remember. And then we've got the duo unit of this banner and Duo Ymir. So Duo Ymir is a colorless infantry mage, and she's here with air. I really like air, as you guys know, so I'm pretty happy that even though she's the backpack, she's still here. So they've got Sparkling Sun as their preferred weapon, and this provides them with -1 special cooldown. And if the unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, then you can inflict -X attack and resistance debuff on the foe, and this X depends on 30% of the unit's HP at start of the combat, +6, and this can go all the way up to 18 attack and resistance debuff, which is so much. And then you also get the guaranteed follow-up attack and 10 HP healing after the combat, and Ymir also gets 75% damage reduction against AoE specials, and also gets 75% damage reduction on foe's first attack if the foe can double. So Ymir is a pretty slow unit, but is pretty tanky with that 35 defense and 41 resistance and very high attack stat at base 45 with the super boon. And then she comes with the new tier 4 skill of the boost skills, which a lot of people have been waiting for. So Fire Flood boost 3 does give you +5 HP, and at start of combat, if your HP is at or above 50%, then you can get +7 attack and resistance in the combat. And also, if you're within 2 spaces of an ally with more than or equal to half HP, then you can inflict the guard status on the opponent in the combat. So the guard is really helpful as a defensive effect, but I really wish that this worked on like the max HP of the unit, just comparing the max HP basically, like how a lot of people have been wanting it. So yeah, that is the tier 4 version of the boost skill. Then she's got Mystic Boost Forward and also Ever Living Domain, which we have seen on the regular Ymir as well, and we also have Fallen Maria now. So Ever Living Domain can be a really good support skill, and I think we're definitely going to be seeing her in Aether Raids defense. So she's a very bulky mage who's colorless and can actually live a lot of things because of the insane damage reduction that she can get on top of her really good bulk. And then you can even run like Rash Assault, Remote Mirror on top of that to get even more damage reduction. So a very solid bulky mage if you want to get her. And she also has her duo button, which we can see over here. So yeah, this duo button basically gets rid of the penalties and heals up like 20 HP. So it's kind of like Duo Dumas in that sense, but it doesn't really give you the buff neutralization like Duo Duma. So yeah, here it is. Neutralizes any penalty on the unit and allies within 2 spaces of the unit, and restores 20 HP to unit and those allies. And at sort of odd numbered turns, if the duo skill has already been used, you can use the duo skill yet again. So it's a bit better in that regard in terms of the usability compared to Duo Duma. But foes buff neutralization is also really good, which Duo Duma provides you with. So definitely going to be a really solid unit for Summoner Duels because of the Ever Living Domain right there, and the fact that Ymir is so bulky. Ymir is not going to be dying to the far safe tanks, you know, that easily really, and is able to hit extremely hard, and this duo skill is going to be amazing support for the Summoner Duels. So yeah, pretty solid Summoner Duels unit overall, all things considered, and that is going to be our duo unit of the banner. And then we also have our Tempest Trial Plus unit in Summer Donnel, as you can see here, and he's an Axe Infantry unit. And he pretty much has the same weapon as Summer Tharja, but it's attack and defense based instead of being attack and speed based. So a bit unfortunate for him because he's not very fast. He's got base 31 speed. He does have base 40 defense and base 45 attack. But it's really hard nowadays because we have Fallen Linus, Hans, you know, all of these units, female Shez. So it's pretty hard for him to stand out as an Axe Infantry unit. And we just got Summer Male Shez, who's so unique with that preferred weapon. So unfortunately, Summer Donnel, not the greatest Tempest Trial Plus unit, but can be useful. And we're actually going to be getting Attack Resistance Rain as one of the Tempest Trial Sacred Seals, which is pretty insane. So the fact that we're getting the rain skills in Tempest Trial is absolutely amazing and something I didn't expect. So let me know what you think about this banner in the comment section down below, and hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure to leave a like and a comment, helps me tremendously. And if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks down below or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more FEH videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I wish YouTube sub boxes would show my videos as many times as we get the God Swords. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.